have Stephano, one of the favorite players of this tournament. And his opponent to the top right, it's NightEnd in the red color, player for Fnatic.
Yep, I think you really nailed it when you said Stephano's a favorite. When you look at the Koreans that are here, they're excellent. Don't get me wrong. Puma has no shortage of achievements. JYP is often heralded as having some of the best PvZ in Korea. But you know, there's not a Korean here. There's not a Dong Regu. There's not an MMA. There's not an MVP or an ST or an MC. You know, there's not guys that are just always clear-cut favorites. You know, FXO Lucky is somebody that people are really looking out for. Puma always a threat. JYP always a threat. But I think these are all players that are beatable by top-level foreigners, by guys like Stephano, NightEnd, Cass. You know, these guys that are always around the top of the foreigner scene.
And there's one thing, we are going to talk about this a little bit as soon as we cast the games of Polt, but I've been talking to Polt a little bit because I just get the impression that the GSL format favors Koreans players a little bit because they are more used to the style where they have like 1 week in order to prepare against one specific opponent on a certain set of maps. But this is one of the tournaments where we just have a huge variety of matchups and a huge variety of maps as well. The Koreans can just not prepare for one single matchup. And this is something that favors Europeans a little bit. It doesn't make the Koreans any worse, but at the same time, Polt kind of agreed and said he thinks that he actually has a little bit of an advantage over other players because he's playing so many European tournaments.
Yeah. Oh, a little bit of a pause here. And we don't know why.
Yeah, so what we're seeing right now is just Stephano trying to get his hatchery. He already is building his pool, so the standard game, no gas, so gasless expand for Stephano and NightEnd with a block with one of his pylons. He doesn't have the Nexus just yet, but he is obviously going to throw down a second base very, very early in the game. We have him with a Forge first play. Nothing out of the ordinary, especially on Cloud Kingdom. So, yeah, let's see how Stephano is going to react. His pool is about to finish, then we'll see the Zerglings and the pylon being killed. So, yeah.
Forge, expand, or die trying. Is,
the Naniwa quote.
Yep, exactly. That's kind of the way that Protoss is played these days. Stephano looks like he's going to take his third base as his natural, his first expansion, and he'll just be putting his third hatch in that natural.
I think that's a really, really risky move because there could always be some kind of cannon attempt. But we have Stephano with the second overload already moving out in order to make sure that there is no warp in pylon, which I really like. So even though he takes the third, he is very cautious about it. He's trying to grant vision with the overload so that he would see immediately if there's going to be a pylon and can react with the Zerglings.
Yeah, absolutely, you are correct. Third hatch going down at 4 minutes. Oh my goodness. Super fast 3 hatch for Stephano.
And he is following the probe of his opponent, so NightEnd, even though he still has one probe on the map, is already scouted with his with one of the Zerglings, so going for some kind of sneaky warp-in pylon is not going to be an option for him right now. At the same time, an Overlord is already in position at the expansion of NightEnd, so Stephano will be very well aware if there's another probe sneaking out.
Meanwhile, it looks like NightEnd just doing what you would expect from this kind of an opener. He's getting that Cyber Core down. He's just starting to, I guess, Chrono Boost probed. Worker-wise, it's 21 probes to 20 drones. That, of course, is going to change very quickly once Larva Inject starts being a factor. But it hasn't yet, as Stephano's still just, well, he's got his second queen out, so very, very soon we're going to see major droning from Stephano.
The follow-up for NightEnd is going to be pretty interesting. I'm actually kind of excited to see what he's going to do. I feel like the Stargate follow-up that we've seen lately a little bit more often again is not really something that is too strong because most players right now are able to deal with it. That's why I expect NightEnd to go for a different kind of follow-up, so I would be a little bit surprised to see him go for Stargate, especially against Stephano. And we already have the +1 attack upgrade being researched now. So, yeah, that's going to be definitely some kind of gateway pressure play. The only thing, the one thing that I like with the Stargate is still the 2 or 3 Void Ray with ground unit support. That's something that I really like, especially with the +1 attack upgrade. This push can be so strong.
Yeah, I like to think of it as being kind of MC style. I feel like he's the guy that popularized it. At least he's the guy that I've seen do it the most.
And this is the first Zerg that we've been casting today. How awesome is it that finally, it has been part of the game in the beta and in the early games of StarCraft, but how awesome is it that we finally have the lava on the unit count again?
Yeah, I was actually just thinking that. It's so cool.
It is so brilliant. Finally, thank you, Blizzard. It took you a while to put it onto the unit on tap again, but finally we can see how many lava a player actually has.
Man, Stephano droning so hard. At one point, 15 drones in production. He's already up to 48 drones.
And I would say we're going to see a Blink Stalker with +2 attack upgrade, since we see the Twilight Council already.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. This is becoming very common these days.
On the other hand, he has a ton of gas. He might... Do you think he is going to be a little bit sneaky and trying to use Dark Templar against the opponent? I actually doubt it a little bit, but given the amount of gas that he's already harvesting...
Maybe. I mean, he's going to get +2. He's going to be making a lot of Stalkers. But I mean, he's just going to have this buildup of gas, and eventually he might transition into like some Archon play.
6 gates now. Okay.
Wow.
7 gate pressure play with Blink Stalkers. This is what's going to happen. And Stephano is halfway done with his lair tech. We will probably see an Infestation Pit. We talked about it earlier already, that it's very, very hard to play Mutalisk on Cloud Kingdom, so Spire is probably not what's going to happen. And an Infestation Pit is exactly what he needs in order to deal with this pressure. He needs Fungals.
I don't know how Stephano does it, man. 8 minutes, 30 seconds into the game, he's on 61 drones. Like, I could try as I might, I can never have 61 drones this fast. It's just awesome, because now he can just produce units. And I'm going to just come right out and say that I don't think there's any way that a Blink Stalker all-in works against Stephano right now. His economy's too good. He's got too much production. And he's making more drones. 8 more drones. Are you serious right now? And
he's getting Spore Crawlers. He gets very, very little gas. He's on 3 Extractors. That's all there's to it. He is just investing a lot into minerals. And we have him with Spore Crawlers just to be safe if there is some kind of DD play, which is not the case. The Rocks have been killed now, and NightEnd is going for the +2 attack upgrade. He is researching Blink as well and going for the robotics. We don't have anything in regards to tech for Stephano, though. He's going for the +1 attack upgrade and Roach speed, but we don't see him transitioning into an Infestation Pit. He doesn't even get Burrow.
Yeah, which is really interesting. Big little counter squad from Stephano here. As soon as he sees NightEnd's army out on the map, he might try to run past. What are you going to do, Stephano?
This Overlord is just so brilliant. In the perfect spot, he sees him moving out, and here comes Stephano trying to take advantage of the situation. The probes in position. The pylon gets picked off, and all the buildings are unpowered. This is brilliant for Stephano. He sees a small opening in his opponent's strategy, and he's immediately trying to capitalize on it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely exploiting NightEnd here. He's going to take out some of these pylons. He's going to kill a lot of probes. This puts NightEnd completely all in. And I mean, look at the supplies, Khaldor. 155 to 80. That's that's a big difference.
Yeah, that's a big difference, I'd say. This is, I think we can call it right now. This is GG.
This is GG. Roach is going to get up on these sentries, picking off a few of them. NightEnd forced to back up, but very, very obviously he's kind of dead. So
he can't produce any additional units. He has a little bit of minerals banked up and gas as well, but there are still lings at his natural, and he lost 17 workers already. He has no pylon at the low ground, so he still can't produce any additional units, given the fact that in his main base there are several warp gates that are completely unpowered. So this is horrible. This one Overlord, the positioning of one Overlord kind of decided the game in Stephano's favor.
One Overlord was there, so he knew he could get by. Also, he had the lings in position to run past. You know, he didn't have to run through an army to get to counterattack. He already had those units where they needed to be. So, great play by Stephano. GG by NightEnd.
There's NightEnd GGing out of the game.
Game number 1 goes to the French.